Praise Allah, honors to the Prophet, honors to all, honors are due from a Moor's point of view. This is Dr.Arturos turned ill, Moorish American national government citizen, and I greet you in the native tongue of our ancient forefathers, which simply means peace, Islam. This is a response to a video I had watched a minute ago, which is a friend of mine's, and it's called The Great Debate on Religion, Lies, and Truth. I had the pleasure of talking with Brother Katie Bay, but not the other individual who had talked and conversed with him on a daily basis in regards to religion and Jesus. I study and I follow the prophets of Noble Drew Ali, who is the only one who came with a light in this dark time in North America and pointed the way with that flashlight to freedom, socially, economically, and political freedom. There are a lot of brothers of mine that are Moors, but they have somehow along the way has slipped a little bit and need to pick themselves up, because I'm not interested in what type of relationship that an individual may have, or people, tribes, tongues, and nations may have with their creator. Some may call him Yahweh, some may call him Jehovah, some may call him Allah, some may be calling, but they're all talking about the same father, husband, the husband, of every living thing that moves on the face of boundless space, meaning, you understand, the earth land, who travel on the earth land. That's a personal relationship that you have with God that I'm not interested in that, and neither does I have the power to define or even to describe the way that you should worship and serve Allah. That's between you and Him. But now when we get off into things from a political perspective, and we get to talking about sovereignty and etc., then we talk about a whole different arena, a whole different sphere. Because I cannot go within a courtroom speaking and interpreting things according to the Webster Dictionary, because that's a whole different arena of existence. So in order to be able to understand what's taking place, then I must have what they call a Black's Law Dictionary to define the language in which they are speaking in the courts. And then again, I ain't got no place or no business being inside no commercial marketplace. I ain't got no business going inside no corporate entity office, because it ain't nothing but a modern day slave block. That's what a courtroom is. And the judges is law merchants. And they're not honoring the law. Or is they not being educated according to what law is? That's the whole problem. So you ain't got no business being off up in no courtroom. You ain't got no business, you understand, breaking no laws or doing nothing of an illegal nature, or either identifying with the terms, words, and symbols that brings you up under their jurisdiction. When you walk in the courtroom, you right off the back, you up under their jurisdiction, so how you gonna talk about what you got? We dealing with some very shrewd people. And it don't cost them a dime and nothing to snatch your physical form. And Noble Drew Ali teaches the Moors, all true Moors, You have false Moors too. You know, they just just as fictitious as they want to be, but they still Moors. No man has the power to change man from his direct descendant nature unless his power extends beyond the greater universal creator Allah himself. So how you gonna tell me I ain't a Moor because I ain't got a nationality card and I'm a part of your temple? I mean, come on, man. Keep it real. You know, go back to the teachings of the prophet. Find out what a prophet is right now. You know, I hear brothers talking about some, oh, well, that brother that put the prophet in the back seat. First, the prophet got to be in the car in order for you before you can even try to attempt to put him in the back seat, because you gonna go back there before he do. See, the key is in the language. I done heard brothers over the years say thoughts can be changed, but actions can't. That's a lie. Straight from the lower self. Because all you have to do is change your thoughts, then you're going to change your actions. You know? And all these oaths. Well, you got to take the oath. Prophet said the oaths are unnecessary. And if you're a religious scholar, or even if you're a scientist, then you would know what the prophet says. Oaths are unnecessary. Where are all these oaths coming from? And where did this "I'm American citizen"? How did this get placed up on the Moorish science tip of American nationality cards? Somebody been doing some work in the dark. If man would know, he himself would be what he know. Can't no other man make you into nothing. Only Allah, the great God of the universe, can transform a person. And then a person got to know how to use those carpenter tools. And then when we get it, I done got all off of base, off the premise. Brother Katie, they was talking about, did Jesus ever exist? First, we got to understand that the word J wasn't introduced into the English language until 1465. But what was he being called before then? Yahshua. He said, where do we get the name Jesus? We get the name Jesus from the East. And what does the name Jesus mean? Jesus means justice. So when we're talking about something allegorically, in metaphysical terms, now we're dealing with something from a different nature. We're talking about a certain type of concept. You understand? A certain type of mentality coming into operation through a personality. You know, Jesus was a physical man and he walked the physical earth. Now, how the European had transformed him into a god and made him some form of superhero beyond anything that you can comprehend, that was done by the European people. That don't have nothing to do with us. While we arguing about something that's irrelevant to life and our existence, is what we need to actually do is ask these religious scholars, Muslims with these Qurans and stuff like this, show me in the Bible or show me in the Quran, the Yusuf Ali Quran, which was a pale-skinned, blue-eyed Arab, you understand, or so-called white man, etc., whatever. Show me in there where God created a Negro, a black, a colored, an Ethiopian, and an African American. Show me that in the Bible where God made this here. See, because we talk about the same government, the same religious orders and fraternities, etc., on the Western Freemasonry level, you understand? Show me where they taught this to you and gave you a Bible and told you with this, that, and another, but it ain't in the Bible. And the Bible said God made man in his image and after his likeness and gave him dominion over all the earth and over the animals and creeping things, etc. So God created a man. Now, how did man